Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the Burgers and Fries podcast, your Bob's Burgers companion podcast. With you, as always, Brian and Ryan. We are back. This is getting crazy. It's late night recording for us, so this is gonna be an adventure.
This is our second latest recording because we did that one recording during the Extra Life that was later than this.
Yes,
but we don't make a habit out of doing them past like 9 o'clock, and mostly it's because we end up rambling. Or we get way off topic, or something else happens.
We end up rambling. You have kids.
They're both in bed. They're both in bed right now because we're not recording on our typical Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm not like a night person, anymore. I'm a very old soul, as it were, and I like to, wake up early. Honestly, that's where I get all my stuff done.
I got
a new keyboard, and I keep I keep peeling off like little
pieces of plastic.
Little pieces of clear plastic. I'm just trying to, like, Jesus. I'm just like staring.
Yeah, no,
at it
I'm a night person ish. I'm not as late as I used to be.
You definitely are more so than me. God, you could stay up all night when we were in college. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to bed, and you're like in level 42 of some Zelda game or something. It's like, God, relax.
Yeah, no, I'm not that late anymore. Like, it'll be 11:30 midnight when I'm going to bed. But there were days, even as early as last year, where it was like I was going to bed at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then waking up at 7. And just, I'll go, I can go through a spurt like that, but it's definitely not, doesn't work that way anymore. I'm definitely, like I said, 11:30, 12, like midnight, I'm pushing it. Wow, I just popped my pee there. I'm definitely ready for bed and falling to sleep. Usually I'm willing myself to stay awake if I'm playing a game with somebody. I'll will myself. All right, we'll play a few more. But I'm not actively like, it's 1 o'clock. Let's keep going. I'm putting something on on the TV and falling asleep. Going.
Yeah, but that's pretty much me.
Pushing
but
the lady over and saying, nope, bedtime.
Yeah, but it's much earlier. Like if I stay up past like 11 or 12, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so late. What am I doing? Like, sometimes I'll get into like a game or like watch a movie or something. It's like, yeah, whatever, I'll just stay up. And then I'm like, oh my God, why did I stay up so late? But it's nice because all my customers are West Coast, so I have a nice little 2-hour buffer in the morning, so I don't have to wake up at like 6 a.m. like most people do.
Well,
I know,
lucky
right?
you.
Yeah, but I do like to wake up at 6 though, because I still live in Central Time. So anyway,
You do.
We're gonna talk about Bob's Burgers instead of our sleeping habits.
Yeah. Especially since it's
we're gonna do episode 20 of season 4, Gene It On.
Yeah, 420.
Which is just kind of is. So it's gonna be basically a ripoff of Bring It On, the cheerleading.
Is it a ripoff though? Is it a ripoff
that everybody loves? It's spoofing. How about it's a spoof?
It's one of their spoofs.
Yeah.
I thoroughly. From what I remember about the episode, I really enjoy it. I don't think it's much of a Bring It On ripoff in so much as it's just a fun cheerleading ripoff.
Well, I think Mr. Ambrose, played by Billy Eichner, he, is trying to make it kind of more like Bring It On, because he's trying to bring into the drama, and
he is. Oh yeah,
we'll talk a little bit more about after we watch the episode and come back.
Yeah, so. It was air date May 4th, 2014. Yep. Written by Greg Thompson, directed by Chris Song. Let me give you a quick synopsis real quick. Tina decides to try out for the cheerleading squad, but it's actually Gene who gets noticed in the crowd for his spirit and cheering ability. Meanwhile, during her cheer audition, Tina falls and bites her tongue, leaving her unable to speak, and a mischievous Louise steps up to be her translator.
Woo.
So, we're going to leave it at that. This is a good episode with the extra characters that are in. We've got Billy Eichner who comes back with Mr. Ambrose.
There's a lot of guest voices.
Obviously,
a ton.
Bobby Tisdale comes back with Zeke. Keegan-Michael Key comes back as a brand new character.
Yep. And of course, David Herman is just recurring.
Of course, yeah.
As everybody, yeah.
And like Jenny Slate as Tammy, because it's cheerleaders. Mm-hmm. So of course we got those.
Yeah, of course Tammy's a cheerleader. Of course she is, and Jocelyn. So,
yes.
I think that's going to do it for intro. Mm-hmm. So we're going to take a break, pause the podcast, if you will, and you can watch the episode along with us and unpause the podcast when you are ready to pick up on the other side. So we will see you right after the break.
Freestyle rules. Last cheerleader standing is the king of the yells. It could go either way. I know who's going to win.
Your name is Gene. You've got heart and soul. I even like your haircut. But hey, where is the bowl? Oh, no, I did that.
Gene got bowl trolled.
Okay, not bad, but here's the deal. I mopped up your spit, I rinsed out your towels, and when I hear you cheer, I evacuate my bowels! Boom!
Well, you've got no physique. You're kind of round. You make not very good mouth sounds.
Kind of a thinker.
Good job, Todd. That was on the money.
Who said that?
Your rhymes are meh, your logic is flawed. If you're the Yell King, then I'm the Yell God!
Oh, I think that was a death blow.
I just got chills.
No. Just give me a... You think you're smart, but you're stupid. Your chairs are just... flippity, floppity, floopity, skidibadoo.
And we are back, and that was Gene It On.
Gene it on.
What did you think? First thoughts, go.
I get to do first thoughts today.
Oh, that's right. It's all kind of craziness today.
It is. It's the Christmas hangover, the holiday hangover.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I
do you work
really
tomorrow?
like. No, I don't. I'm off.
Oh, nice.
I'm off for the rest of the week. Well, I'm off for tomorrow.
Okay.
Wednesday and Thursday. So I guess today.
Yeah.
And then I do go back Friday because the deal with my boss was I take off the 2 days. He takes off 1 day.
That's fine.
So, but I was off today to go take my nephew to go build his computer, and then I ended up having to build it for him, unfortunately. He was all excited to get the parts and put it together, and he's like, you can stay and just help me through this one part, and then it ended up being, you can just do all of it, because I actually don't know what I'm doing.
Well,
So
computers are tough if you've never been inside
well,
one before.
they are, and he decided to buy all these very aesthetically pleasing looking pieces, and then of course they don't function the same way as like the one I built.
Sure.
And so everything was different, and eventually we got it to work. And
Okay, well, that's good.
It took like 3 hours. I was like, I gotta go home. I gotta eat. Gotta put the kids to bed. I haven't done any of that. So yeah, so I had did that yesterday, and then today obviously off, and then I'll have to be back Friday. But no, I mean, as far as this episode, I really liked it. This has always been one of my favorites of the season.
Is
just
it?
Because it is actually.
Okay,
It is kind of
all
one of the favorites. I like. The two big things I like in this episode, I love Louise and the way that she plays interpreter for Tina. I absolutely love what she does, and the way that she kind of approaches all the situations, because she's actually doing more good than she expects to.
Yes, it definitely backfires what she tries to do. She tries to say, oh, hey, Jimmy Jr., Tina thinks you're stupid, and, that backfires, and they end up going on a date together, right? But she just doesn't miss a step. She just takes advantage of the entire situation, and makes it into her benefit.
Yeah, and then, I guess for the second part, then, I also like the whole, I like the whole Gene It On, the whole Bring It On rift thing that goes between them. I think that is played very well. I love the little riff off that they do, the little cheer off.
Yes.
That they do. I could talk about some of the things that I didn't like about the episode, but you wanted my first impressions, and that's what espoused from my mouth. I said I enjoyed this episode a lot, and those are the two things that I liked. Now it sounds like from your response that you have a different opinion of this episode.
I do. I didn't seem to care for it as much as your first thoughts were. I thought it was pretty straightforward. The big thing
we've never held a straightforward episode against this show.
No,
there's lots of episodes that are straightforward.
The one thing that got me the most, that bothered me the most, was Mr. Ambrose and why he was trying to put these kids against each other. Like, he should be fired for that. That's terrible.
That was a weird motivation. I will give you that his.
Well, I didn't get drama, so now I'm bringing drama into the cheerleading squad. And it's like, really? Why are you doing that?
Mr. Ambrose has always been kind of a weird character.
Yes, he has.
And I'll be honest, I like Billy Eichner when he's not being Billy Eichner.
When he's not being his character from Billy on the Street.
Correct.
Yes, I agree.
This voice that he does can be very draining, and even when it's in Bob's Burgers, it becomes kind of cringy. and it's not the same as the one as the Billy on the Street, but when he does that whispering like he did with the Topsy episode, it can get on you, and especially in this episode there's a lot more of it, and he's always in there playing, he's playing antagonist just as much as Louise is playing antagonist. But that can get a little taxing on me when watching the episode. But to your point, his motivation was just, you're right, he
out of left field.
He shouldn't have been the leader of the cheer program if that's
how he's gonna do it. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand that whole part of it, and that really bothered me because, like, I feel like they could have written it where he doesn't do that, right? But then, like, when they have their cheer off and when they have their other team rivals that steals their idea. Keegan-Michael Key's character could have told the other team just to screw over
Todd,
Gene and his idea, right? Like that, and then he could have just been like the whole time, "Oh my gosh, this is just like this one movie, Bring It On," or "Oh my gosh, there's so much drama in Cheerleading Squad, I don't need to go back to drama camp or whatever the hell he missed out on, teaching the player or whatever he was supposed to do." So they could have written it like that, where he isn't like, he's like the bad guy in this episode. And there's no reason for him to be. And that's why I think it bothers me so much, and why this episode kind of lost a few points,
Sure.
At the end, or it's going to lose a few points at the end, because I don't understand why they went and did that. I don't think his character is like that,
Yeah.
Or his character should be like that. I know he's a little weird and a little kind of in your face, like you're saying before, because it is Billy Eichner voicing it, so I understand the overtopness and just always the yelling and the hard whispering that he always does. I don't agree with his motivation in this particular episode.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. But I mean, if you want to talk about weird, like, I guess not necessarily motivations, but just kind of weird character happenings, you could even look at Linda in this episode.
Linda is, oh boy, does she really? She's one of those sports moms now, right? Where she's just living vicariously through her children.
And she was all ready to do it through Louise, or not through Louise. She was all ready to do it through Tina, because Tina was one who was trying out originally. And then when Tina comes in and says that she didn't do it, she's all like, "It's okay, don't worry about it." And then obviously Gene comes in, and then she becomes the cheer mom for Gene, and it starts treating Gene like the golden child. Like, everybody else is just poop on the sole of your shoe, and here's Gene, the golden boy, and gets all this extra work, and she's paying so much attention to him, and he doesn't necessarily want it. I mean, he likes it right away, a little bit right away, but he definitely doesn't want her to be pretty much running his cheer life.
Yeah,
he does. She starts packing him this huge lunch. And
what is it, like 10,000 calories for lunch?
It's like pepperoni pizza, chicken, like pomodoro. Oh no, she has puns for them. So it's pepperoni pizza, and then chicken pomodoro, and a cheerleader of soda.
Which is,
and somebody's like, that's like 10,000 calories of cheer puns.
Yeah, Bob said that.
And then she's starting to design these cheer routines for Gene, like that big cartwheel, where they all stand on each other's shoulders. Yeah. And we're all gonna do it. It would never work. It's not gonna work.
Oh, of course not. It couldn't even work with 2 people, let alone 6. Yeah. But it's. But yeah, she has some kind of she kind of gets a little crazy in this episode. I mean, I know she does. We talk about her going over the top all the time. Yes.
So I mean, that's not.
But that's
that
okay. That's like, but she doesn't go over the top like maliciously like Billy Eichner's character did, right? Like Mr. Ambrose.
No. I mean, at the end,
sometimes she can get a little carried away when she's trying to get back at people, but like when Bob and her went to the hotel that one weekend for the burger online chat meetup thing,
Yeah.
So I understand that part, but it's never that vicious, right? Where he's just like, I'm just gonna pit you against each other for my own selfish reasons. She gets so into it. It's her kids. It's something that it seems like she wanted to be a cheerleader at one point, and she just didn't make the team.
She talks about that because she didn't make the team.
Because it just says like
she didn't make it because of Monica.
Well, not because she didn't make it because of Monica. It seems like she just didn't make it, and she just started living vicariously through Monica.
Oh, so like Monica was her friend? Yeah,
You know?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, and so then you're right because she was basically just there to be around Monica, and what did she say? Like I'll drive you to practice all the time, and all that kind of stuff. You're right.
And then the reason like it didn't work out and she's super, angry at Monica is because Monica never, or one time ditched her at the food court in the mall,
Yeah.
and she can't eat sesame chicken again, and he's like, and Bob's like, Lynn, you had sesame chicken last night. He's like, I know, but I didn't like it. Which is,
and that's just it's just weird that again the things that Linda
yeah,
associates with like things in her life that are disappointing, and it always seems to go around food. Like she holds the grudge with Monica because of that. If you think it back to season 1 with the ziti, the baked ziti, like there's always something. If she's got a problem with somebody, at least a couple times,
it's
always
food oriented.
It's she has a memory associated with food.
Yes, it's very true.
But yeah. I mean, she drives Gene crazy, and Gene's like, "You'll never be a cheerleader," and then she, of course, then starts associating that with with him being like Monica. Oh, you're just like Monica, and he goes, "I bet she was great," and decides that he wants to go hang out with her. He's like, I'd rather go cheer with her instead.
Yeah. She sounds amazing. I wish I had an opportunity to do that and just to get back at Linda.
Yeah.
Lynn, do you think with Gene you're being just a little suck-uppy?
Suck-uppy? I am not a suck-up, and I don't play favorites with my kids. I love them all, even the ones who aren't special.
Okay, it's just that. Are you wearing a cheerleading skirt?
No, something I picked up at the thrift store. It's a regular short pleated skirt with stripes on it in royal blue with the picture of a Viking. It's comfortable. Go team!
Was that a cheer?
No. Why would I cheer?
My pep is pooped. All I want to do is eat a huge dinner and go straight to bed and get up later for my 1 a.m. cheese plate and then right back to bed.
Gene, come look at my cheer stunt. 6 cheerleaders sit piggyback on each other in a tower, and then they all roll at once in a giant cartwheel. Oh, whoops. No, don't worry about that. Look, I made a flip book out of a sticky pad. Woo! I call it the pig wheel. Get it? Huh? So, you like it?
That's a great idea. On Planet Crazy, cheer. We'd all die.
No, look at the flip book.
It's crazy and you're driving me crazy.
What? I'm just being part of your cheerleading.
You're not a cheerleader and you never will be.
Oh, I knew it. You're just like Monica.
I hope so because Monica sounds great. I wish I could have cheered with her. Forget dinner. I'm going to bed. But I'll still be up for the cheese plate and we better not be out of toast points.
So I don't know if you want to go through, if you want to start the quick breakdown, the synopsis of the actual episode. We kind of started off pretty hot there. We went right into
we went right into what I didn't like about it. And
well, we went in, you asked me what I liked,
right.
And you didn't, and thankfully, I don't want to say like thankfully, like it's about time that we had, again, that we had kind of a stark difference in our opinions. We're pretty fairly even.
Well, it's because the episodes have been pretty great as of late, and this one just had something in it that I didn't care for. I like Gene being a cheerleader. I thought it was hilarious when he's up on top of the bleachers when Tina, which we need to talk about Tina's audition, and he's just cheering and lifting up his shirt and banging on his belly, which he did when he was playing baseball, right?
Yeah.
He's like, nope, that's it. That's it. I played everybody. Oh, come on. What about Billy Bongo's over there? I played my girl, right? Yeah. So Gene's still at it.
Even before we get that.
Yeah.
Even before you get to there, because you jump just a little bit ahead.
Sure.
Because you gotta remember what kind of cheerleading they're trying out for. Mm-hmm. Because it's not basketball. It's not football. It's wrestling cheerleading. They're trying out for wrestling cheerleading.
That's right.
Did your high school have a wrestling cheerleading squad?
I have been to 0. Did or did not?
Did. My high school had a wrestling cheerleading squad. Yeah.
I've been to 0 wrestling matches in my high school and during my high school career, and I've never been to any outside of my high school.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah, okay.
And if anybody from my high school is listening, I apologize.
Okay.
The wrestling cheerleaders were often referred to as the rejected basketball cheerleaders. They were not the good cheerleaders.
So sad.
I know from firsthand. I dated a couple of them.
So you know what you're talking about.
I know what I'm talking about because I
was
like
reject.
I was a big fan of the rejected cheerleaders. Don't get me wrong.
Were they just easier than the basketball cheerleaders? Was that it?
Well, you had less cheers because you didn't really during the cheering. At least when I went to the couple meets that I went to, most of the cheering is done sitting or like kneeling on the mats. So you don't need to be very, jumpy, twisty, athletic-y to be a cheerleader. Granted, I grew up in a town of, 4,000 people with less than 500 in our high school. So you got what you got. You tried out.
You
for
didn't have the
cheerleading.
depth, the talent pool.
We did not. So maybe they was just working with what they had. But yeah, I mean, the wrestling, cheerleading, when you think of cheerleaders, you don't think of wrestling. You're thinking basketball or football. Some of the larger sports that have larger crowd gatherings. But if we kind of put it into Wagstaffian world, the only sport really, other than baseball, that we've seen has been wrestling because of Zeke and Jimmy Jr.
Yes.
So perhaps wrestling is just really big in this town. I mean, there are some cities that are just they have great wrestling programs. Mm-hmm. So maybe these are where the good cheerleaders go, and that's why Tina didn't make it. Other than her snafu, but maybe she wouldn't have made it anyway.
It'd be tough if she nails that cartwheel. I think it's a game changer, but because she's really quiet, so maybe if they get her to be louder, she can make it. But since she smashed her face onto the table, I don't think, obviously she didn't make it. But maybe if she didn't do that, that's an interesting thought. I never thought of that. I just from the episode, it's like, oh yeah, she didn't make it. She's not cheerleading material. But if she nails that cartwheel, it could be pretty good. And that's why the kids also Louise and Jean, that's how they kind of get coaxed into going, is because one of her final things she says before she leaves for her tryout is, what do you land on your hands or your head for your cartwheel, right? And they're like, oh no, we should go to this, we should definitely check this out. Louise wants to go and watch her be humiliated, and Jean just wants to go yell.
Yeah. So when Tina's doing her practice cheer, she has no pep. Tina doesn't really have pep to begin with.
Right.
So, let's go Ignite. The Wagstaff team is dynamite. Hey, let's do it. I already did. I just did it. But then they get to the tryouts. And I just I think that the whole tryout seems I think it's pretty funny. Again, there's a lot of good humor here. Like the first girl who tries out is scared to death to do it. She's
also she's real timid, real quiet again.
And no, the cheerleaders don't like her, and and this is where Mr. Ambrose, this is where you start seeing that he's a terrible human being for this episode, because he whispers over to Tammy like, I hate cheerleading.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Tammy's like, my pom-poms want to make me her pom-poms make me want to vom. Mm-hmm. And Todd's like, I scored her a 4.7, because she's in the math class, and we don't have a point system, Todd. So that's when Tina goes and does her Let's Go Ignite, the Wagstaff team's dynamite, and then that's when she trips, like you said, and she bit her tongue. And then that's when we see Gene cheering on Tina. And he's like, Tina.
Yeah, he just starts yelling. And then there's one point where he just stops making any, words at all, and it's just screaming.
Yeah, he just starts wailing, and that's the kind of cheer that they're looking for, the kind of pep they want for the squad here.
Yes, the spirit. Yes, the spirit is, as it were.
Yeah, and I mean, he doesn't necessarily want to do it right away, because he doesn't necessarily care to do it. He's like, I got stuff to do, after school, guys. I'm not here to do cheerleading. I got, what does he say? He's got his bath and snack to do after school.
Yes, he's very busy.
He's busy with that bath and snack. But then they promise him...
It was silk
cheer shorts.
Yes, silk cheer shorts. I'm in. He wanted the silk cheer shorts. It's all about comfort to Gene.
Exactly. That's a total Gene thing to want. He doesn't care about the popularity. He's like, got it, don't need it.
Yeah, that's
even if he's not popular, he's popular enough for Gene.
But he gets in it. He's a natural. I thought this was a really good idea for the writers to make him a male cheerleader. I thought that was incredibly smart because it fits a lot of Gene's strengths, right? Where it's just yelling and it's rhyming. Like, he's very good at all of that. And so, I don't think we've ever been witness to his strength, because he did have to lift a couple of girls up and got farted on by Tammy because Tammy, what was her line? Like, yeah, Tammy farts when anyone lifts her in the air, and she goes, only when anyone lifts me wrong, which is pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
So it's really funny that this is a continuous gag now throughout the entire show is Tammy has flatulence problems.
She does.
Might need to change up her diet.
We knew that since the first occurrence of Tina because she was farting out the gym. Or she was farting out the cafeteria. Oh my God, Tammy farted. Ooh, that hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got some issues. So. But
yeah, so the whole reason. Let's not gloss over this because this part is again this is bad Mr. Ambrose. Example number 2. Mm-hmm. The only reason he wants Gene on this team is to give Todd some competition to get this, whatever going. He wouldn't care otherwise, but since Todd doesn't want it, he jumps on it. Like, yeah, we got to get him on the team now. Because he's trying to cause that, like you said, he's trying to cause this rift. He's trying to cause this drama to happen.
For no reason other than he is bored or spite.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So, while I will agree with you to no end that Ambrose is a poor instructor, a poor coach, and all that stuff, this is another example of that. It's example number 2. First, it was the I hate cheerleading thing that he does, and then directly after that is I'm going to make sure that Gene gets on the team, so we have this drama on this thing. So we could flash forward. We'll continue with the story. We'll come back to Tina and Louise and that whole thing.
Yeah,
so
because that's a pretty minor thing. Yeah. Like some important things do happen, but it doesn't take up a ton of time as much as Gene's cheerleading does.
Yeah. So then we get to the next practice. Okay. And this is again Mr. Ambrose part 3 that he's a bad teacher for this thing.
Yes.
He's like, we're all here because we wanted this more than anything else in the world except for me. I wanted to advise drama, but Miss LeBon's got it, and I got cis boom blah. And so he wants to inject drama, like you said, he wants to put drama into cheerleading, and that's when he starts assigning roles to kids. Like, Gene, you're the rookie. You hate Todd. He's your arch rival.
He's giving everybody their motivation, right?
Yeah.
Like these are the thoughts and feelings I want you to think about when you go out there and cheer. Or he's feeding Todd up with all of the sports drinks, so he has to go to the bathroom. And then he's going to the bathroom,
that's at the actual meet.
Right.
So we're not there quite yet.
Okay.
But he calls Gene the raw rookie. Todd is the boozy old yell king.
Right.
He threatens, Todd, you hate Gene. He threatens everything you are. Mm-hmm. And then they go around, and Tammy's like, well, I feel like I hate Jocelyn because I'm the hot one, and she's the not one. Mm-hmm. And then that's when Jocelyn rebuttals that Tammy farts when anyone lifts her, and it's gross.
Yeah, it's like, I only fart when anybody lifts me wrong.
But then Ambrose ignores that and says, let's just go with the Gene Todd rivalry. Mm-hmm. And so that's how that starts. And then we get to that first wrestling meet, and that's when that's what you said, where Todd is, he's pushing Todd full of liquids.
Yep, the sports drink.
Todd has to go to the bathroom, and he's like, I made him drink all that sports drink so he would leave, and now it's your turn to be ready and your turn to be the star. Mm-hmm. And so then he leads a cheer that gets everybody going. Like, the crowd loves the cheer. Zeke enjoys it because Zeke's the one wrestling, and he's like, he's like, oh yeah, the crowd's getting into this. Oh, I'm getting pinned. Because he also got into the cheer. He got distracted by it. What was the cheer that he had there?
Gene's?
I got it written. You can do it if you try. Come on, Zeke, pin your guy. He's going to taste the sweet defeat when he sniffs your feet and seat. Cheer fire!
Yeah,
And
and that gets the crowd into it. It was a really good
the crowd liked
thought
it.
up
They were
cheer.
not caring about the other cheers beforehand. But yeah, so then then it distracts Zeke, and he loses. Zeke loses, and then Ambrose again, part number 5 of why he's a bad person, starts blaming the fact that Zeke lost on Gene. Like, look at that! Look what he did. You know. And so then then Todd and Gene continue their feud. He's like, "What did you do? Did you just pee like a coward with a doodle?" And then Ambrose, he doodled.
Yeah.
Just
Injecting himself into this children's conversation. Like this episode would have been ripe for, this Todd Gene, do it, because right away, before Ambrose does or says anything besides "I hate cheerleading," is that Todd tries to stop everybody from having Gene come audition. He's like, "Well, I'm already the Yell King. I already got that covered. So what we're gonna just have like a bunch of guys hanging out in the cheerleading squad? Like, that's not what we're trying to do. Like, I got it covered, right?" So he's already threatened by Gene, and also, and Gene really didn't. We didn't see how polished Gene was at that point. He was just yelling and screaming. So Todd's really threatened by him.
Yeah, but then Ambrose also is the one who suggests the cheer battle, right? He's
Yes.
like,
Yes.
I have a simple way to handle this.
Yeah.
It's a competition in a public place with high stakes and rules, arbitrary rules. And then all the cheer group is like, "Yeah, a cheer battle." So then they have this cheer battle, and Gene wins. We're not going to go through each of the risks. It's more like a wrap off than a cheer battle.
Right.
One of those things like on Nick Cannon's Wild and Out at the end there, or any of those other rap battles that you watch.
Yeah, like 8 Mile.
But yeah, exactly. I do want to mention here where when I think it was the second one that Todd does. He goes, "Well, you got no physique. You're kind of round. You make not very good mouth sounds." And then he changes the voice, goes, "Good job, Todd. That was on the money."
That part was
that
really
was so
funny.
funny.
That part was really funny. I loved that.
Good job, Todd.
And the way that Keegan delivered it was really great.
Funny.
Good
And
job,
it's like,
Todd. It was on the money.
And then somebody goes, and then "Who said that?"
Said that, yeah. I like that a lot.
But that whole, I think Todd's line, I think Keegan-Michael Key delivered those perfectly, because then he goes, "You think you're smart, but you're stupid. Your cheers are just flippity floppity floopid, skeep-a-doo."
Yeah, and starts scatting. Yeah, exactly.
That's not cheering, that's scatting.
Yeah,
I thought the whole, as a whole, Keegan-Michael Key doing this character was fantastic. I think it was always funny to see him deliver this line and deliver what he wanted to do. Like, him as the character, like, just being the scorned, the evil, boozy, what did he call him? The boozy king or something?
Yeah, the boozy old, veteran Yell King. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Todd, did a good job with that. So after that, Gene becomes the new Yell King, just as Ambrose predicted. And then,
but then it doesn't. Like, his sabotagery doesn't stop there, because then they have to go to regionals. I think they go to, and they have their competition that they have to do, but they're trying to think of a way to get ready. Go ahead.
Before that, though, Todd is, suggestion number 6 why Ambrose is a terrible person for this thing. He starts feeding into Todd, like, Gene's ripe to fall, and you're the one to do it, Todd. Sabotage. He's like, Todd's like, "What do you mean, like, do hard work and become better at it?" And Ambrose's like, no, yes, Todd, hard work. No, sabotage. You gotta get dirty. And so then getting dirty for Todd is telling Zeke that Zeke lost only because of Gene's cheerleading. And Todd's like, "No, yeah, he got the crowd on his side, Zeke, not on your side." So then this part again, another hilarious part for me here is when Zeke's like, "I know what you mean. We can maybe get somebody to quit the squad." and they start laughing, and Zeke's like, I'm gonna tickle you, and then the laugh that Keegan-Michael Key delivers here,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
again, just so funny, like, ha, 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 wait, and then Zeke's like, wait, where are we going with this? You know, because Zeke doesn't understand what the hell's going on. So it ends up being that he wears he wears a mask and goes and gives a purple nurple to Jean. And he goes, "This is a warning."
That was so bad. This whole scene was so weird because it was a spoof on the Nancy Kerrigan incident, where she got her knee busted up by a lead pipe.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. And
You quit cheerleading, or I'm coming back for the other nurple. And this isn't Zeke; it's somebody else, and you can't tell it's me because I'm wearing a jockstrap on my face.
I'm wearing a jockstrap on my face, and he runs away. But he's got a pretty purple nurple. And then Todd's like, "Oh man, it looks like you're gonna have to quit now." I was like, "No way! I'm gonna have to cheer even harder now."
Yeah.
You know, so Gene's not fazed by it. He really likes cheerleading, and we get to see Zeke with a jockstrap on his face.
Exactly.
You're telling me I lost my wrestling match because of Gene's cheerleading?
He got the crowd on his side, Zeke, not your side.
Yeah, the crowd perked up, and next thing you knew, the other guy's nad was in my eye.
If only someone could convince Gene to quit the squad.
Do what?
Maybe someone who had some muscle?
I think I see where you're going with this. I'm gonna tickle you. I'm gonna tickle you. Wait. Where are you going with this?
Then as you were saying earlier, this is Ambrose number 7 being a bad person. He submitted the tape of the squad to the State Cheer Association, but he did it as a joke. He didn't even do it because he had thought that they would win or anything, but he submitted it as a joke, and he said that to them. And they were somehow selected for the regional cheer finals in King's Head Island. So we get to go back to King's Head Island, kind of. You don't really see it very much.
No.
And it's tomorrow. So the day after he's only telling them with a day of advance, and it has to be a new original routine. And he won't help them. He's like, "Don't look at me. I'm busy."
Right. And so then Gene comes up, pretty much off the top of his head. It's like, we have to go, out of this world, and we're gonna be robots. Right.
Or cheerbots.
Cheerbots. Thank you. And they have to be cheerbots, and everybody just loves the idea, and we don't get to see them practice or anything like that. But then we're kind of taken to the next day, where they're at regionals, and they're actually dressed up as robots, right? They got the cardboard boxes, and the heads cut out. Everything's kind of painted silver, and everything kind of matches their cheerleading outfits too, right? They got the big yellow W on there for Wagstaff.
Yep.
But what we find out then is the squad, right before they go, has their exact routine and their exact gimmick, right, where they're dressed up as robots as well, which is the plot from Bring It On. And so then they have to try and think of something absolutely ridiculously, original and clever, and they have to do it in 30 seconds. And the thing that Gene comes up with is what we mentioned earlier that Linda originally pitched to Gene because she wanted to be a cheerleader, was that pig wheel. Right? So where it's the 6 cheerleaders stacked on top of each other, and they do one giant cartwheel, which would never work, and oh my god, that'd just be terrifying.
And it didn't work for them either.
No, it did not work for them either. Not even a little bit. Which I think is the thing that I like about Bob's Burgers, is that the Belchers have success, but it's not like over-the-top success. Like, that could have worked maybe on any other cartoon show. Maybe it would have been funny, right?
Well, we've seen, this isn't an exact one-to-one, but we've seen on The Simpsons in the Krusty episode where they're all becoming regional Krusties.
Yes, and Homer is Krusty the Clown. Yeah.
So they're doing, at the very end, instead of getting shot, they have to do they
go through the loop.
The tricycle through the loop. And they end up going through this loop multiple times, even though that would be impossible to do. And then eating the tricycle, obviously.
Right.
And so like these impossible stunts.
Swallowing a tricycle.
Yeah. That part is probably the most. Actually, I would probably believe that over. I'd believe that the multiple loops on a loop that you couldn't do that on.
Sure.
But yeah, another cartoons. You definitely have seen that, and we've talked about this before on Bob's Burgers. It's great that it is rooted in reality.
Yes.
As much as there's a lot that's in here that that is far-fetched, that's like that you would never think it could happen. It is still rooted in what we know in real world physics. It's rooted in real world rules that we have. You know, you cannot do that pig wheel. You cannot do what's the one that she thinks of afterwards, the Daffy Dutch man.
Yes. Where
you
it's
cannot do that one.
Where it's a pyramid and the kid on the top of the pyramid is twirling another child like a windmill. Yeah, which would not work. That would just would not work. So that's as far as you're closest we're getting to, you know, kind of being outside of reality and the normal laws of physics.
Yeah. So I mean that pretty much wraps up the story. Jean they forgive each other. Jean and Linda apologize. Linda's like, I was trying to cheerlead through you, and I should have been cheering for you, and all that. Mm-hmm. And
they have their cue the music moment, right?
Yeah, and then
you know, like in the 90s in sitcoms where like they would cue music and everything would be all heartfelt. Okay, there you go.
Well, I was gonna say that Ambrose tries to redeem himself by what is he tries to catch them at the end because they're gonna fall.
Yes, you're right. He I'll catch you, and they all fall on top of him, and he gets hurt a little bit.
And he's like, you know, they're like, why did you try to save us? He goes, because like 5 minutes ago, I started to care about you kids. Mm-hmm. The jaded cheer advisor has a heart of gold.
The classic trope.
Yeah. But they got a trophy for last place.
Yeah, and Bob's like, we give out trophies for last place? He's like, yeah, of course they do.
So then that ends, and that ends that story.
Hi, I'm Tina.
Yay, Tina! Go, Tina! Tina's a winner!
Let's go ignite. The Wagstaff team is dynamite. Now the big finish.
Wow!
I'm okay. I just bit my tongue.
Nailed it! Wow! Tina!
He's got spirit. I hear it.
Okay, I'm done.
Gene's the belcher we should get on the squad.
Wait, I'm the Yell King here, and I got the guy stuff handled. I mean, just a cheer squad or a male review?
Let's chat with Jane.
Oh.
But Tina was the one that was trying out.
That's okay, Gene. At least I didn't embarrass myself.
I don't even understand her.
Gene, what do you say? Are you in or are you in?
So now we kind of talk about the whole Tina and what Tina and Louise are doing through this whole thing. Because I want to talk about the world's longest date. Because this is literally the world's longest date.
It could be very well, yes.
Just because of how this timing works and when it all happens and what's going on.
And how long the restaurant takes to revolve around.
It just okay. So you know, we'll pick up where Tina bit her tongue, mm-hmm. and they're back home. Mm-hmm. And she's, you know, she can't talk. You know, she's like, the swelling will go down in a couple days. But Louise is going to be her interpreter because Bob can't understand what she's saying. You know, it's like holding your tongue when you were a kid. You know, I don't know if you ever did this when you were in school, but you'd hold your tongue and say, I was born on a pirate ship, and it was supposed to sound like something else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it just, you can't understand what Tina is saying. And so Louise pretends that she can. And she's like, I'll be your interpreter. And she's saying no. And Tina's like, Louise is like, I'm hearing yes. Yeah. And she says yes. And she says yes again. And, you know, so Bob's like, oh, I guess you got it worked out. And I'm going to ignore it.
Right.
So then Louise becomes like her full-time interpreter during even school.
Even convinces Mr. Frond that this is something that she needs to do. And when Tina says, no, I don't need it, and then Louise is like, yeah, she's saying, yeah, I'm going to take your white ass to court.
Yeah, like, I have a disability, you insensitive creep.
Yeah. And I really liked that. I thought that was very funny. How she's just not taking no for an answer, and she gets away with it. And I love those Louise moments.
The whole thing, because it's like, you're upsetting her. I've never seen her this angry before.
Right, yeah, that's true. That's a very good point.
And, you know, Mr. Frond's like, well, tell her I'm sorry. And she goes, she can hear.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
and then he tries to talk like Tina does. And it's like, oh my gosh, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mr. Frond is pretty terrible.
It's, like I said, Louise is pretty good in this episode. She says that Tina's twice the spunk and half the junk. And then so Jimmy kind of, you know, then this common approaches with Jimmy. And And she's like, "You look good today," and that's not what Louise says. Louise says, "Keep walking, dance man. Take a hint and a breath mint."
Yep.
And
she's very quick-witted as well.
Jimmy takes a little offense to that, and Tina's like, "No, you can't be my interpreter anymore." But then Jimmy comes back and says, "Well, hey, if you're trying to play hardball, it worked. Do you want to go out on Friday? You can, And then so
yeah, it totally worked. And then she takes over. Louise takes over.
She rescinds that and is like, "Okay, fine, you can be my interpreter again."
Mm-hmm. But then when does Louise take over then and kind of plan out the entire date of what she wants to do, where she wants to go?
That's the following day.
Okay.
Because they're asking in the future, in the following day, because it's basically, the next day happens, and she goes, "Hey, idiot," and he's like, "What do you think we should do Friday night?"
Mm-hmm.
What does Louise say? "We're going to pie in the sky." So Tina just kind of says, whatever, kind of like whatever you want to do or something.
Right.
And Louise interprets that as the pie in the sky restaurant, the revolving dessert restaurant at the top of the Spinnaker Hotel. And Jimmy Jr.'s like, she didn't say all that. So Jimmy Jr.'s kind of skeptical about that.
It's like, yes, she did. Bring a lot of money because we're going to be eating all kinds of pie.
Yeah. It's not, and of course then Louise tries to put one over. He's like, "It wasn't my first choice, but I have to come. It's for work."
Mm-hmm.
When her lips are flapping, I can't be napping. And bring lots of money, like you said, bring lots of money because we're gonna eat a lot of pie.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what Jimmy says. I guess I could sell my bike. That's so sad. Like, I gotta sell my bike to be able to pay for pie because Louise is being a jerk.
Well, now he's just into Tina, so he'll do whatever it takes to make this date happen.
Yeah.
Right, see where it's going. If he sell his bike. I mean, Louise is really getting one heck of a date here if that's what's going to happen. So they go to the restaurant, and Louise wants to go faster in the restaurant. It's one of those revolving restaurants where you pay for the view, right? And so just slowly kind of rotating around the city, and we get the waiter that comes up, and Louise is like, "Okay, anything we can go he comes back and puts down the pie, and like, "Anyway, we can go faster. I want pie flying off this table," And he's like, "Well, we can't. There's designated speed that we have is for the comfort of all of our, diners." And then he's like, "Jimmy, this guy gives up this guy $10. He wants you to smear him, so he gives him $10." And then he's like, "Ooh, okay, I'll
grease him."
Yeah, grease him. That's what it is. He's like, and then she's like, then the waiter's like, "Oh, all right, I'll go talk to the engineer or the driver or whatever it was."
Engine room or something.
Yeah, the engine room on a diner, which is really funny. And we don't see it go faster. We just see him go attempt to try and talk
but
to
I think just Louise thinks it's gonna go faster.
Maybe
she's like, "Hold on, love birds. We're hold on to your nests." So so they're doing this. So they're on this date, and Louise is like eating everything. She's eating all the pie. And I mean, Jimmy Jr. and Tina are not having this date. And she is, she still has her tongue swollen, and she ends up talking to Jimmy Jr. and she's like, "I didn't want this date. I wanted to watch a movie."
Mm-hmm.
What movie was it? 27 Dresses.
Yes.
And then walk on a beach and find a place to sit in the kelp and kiss.
Which is so then they would take a long walk on the beach, and then they would go out and wade into the ocean and sit in the kelp and kiss. And then Jimmy Jr.'s, "That's the kind of date that I wanted." And then they got like, I want to say
he goes like, "Except for that movie, I've seen it 3 times." That's 81
dresses total.
So, and then Louise is like, "I'll be honest, I can't understand either of you."
Mm-hmm.
So she's eating a lot of food, and she's gonna throw up. And she does throw up.
She's like, "Oh man, now I'm really gonna be sick," and she does. She throws up right under the window, and I love how it's on the window, it's rolling away, and she goes, all right, that's okay. No one's gonna know who did that.
Yeah. But then they're still on the date, and they're and they're just kind of sitting there. They haven't gotten their check yet. Like, that's what I mean by like the longest date ever. Like, they're still rotating around. They still haven't gotten the check. And then they go, "Well, hey, look, here comes my vomit." It comes across again.
Well, and that's what then Jimmy Jr. goes, "Are we going to get our check?" And then that's like the end of their story.
Yeah. So I mean, those are the two stories that we have in the episode. We have, that I like I said, I think they both, as much as the Ambrose story kind of sucks, and we talked about the 7 or 8 things that make him a terrible human being in this episode. You got to admit that the Gene and Todd dynamic could have had great potential, more than it had, and that worked very well. And then also, at least for me, I think the whole Louise thing was pretty good, and that didn't go overboard, over the top. I feel like there are some times where the Louise antics go a little too far, and I don't think this one was too far. I feel like it was just the right amount of Louise antics.
Oh, the Louise antics were the highlight of the episode for me. I thought it was great, and she got all the pie. It worked, right? Sometimes her plans don't work, and I get a little disappointed because I want to see them, to fruition. Right, like her plan was working when she tried to get her out of getting her filling, but then in the end, she ultimately had to get it. Right, they conned her into doing it. This one worked perfectly. She was able to get the pie. She got following around Tina as the interpreter. Didn't have to go to class and convince Mr. Fran that this was supposed to happen. So she's getting much better in how she handles her schemes, as it were.
Yeah.
Or at least we're seeing the ones that work. So it's really great. I loved everything that Louise did in this episode, and it was a highlight. And it's gonna get a lot higher points at the end because of that.
Sure. So let's go through a couple things real quick before we end this review portion of it.
Sure.
This is the first episode where Zeke has his his catchphrase, the "do what?" Mm-hmm. It's the first episode of that.
Yes.
And we know that that's the official catchphrase because when we talked to the writers, that's what they said. Mm-hmm. They talked about that being his catchphrase because they asked us, and I wasn't sure.
I didn't know
what it was,
yeah.
And that's what it is. Do what? That's his catchphrase, and this is the first appearance of said catchphrase. Mm-hmm. The school that Mr. Ambrose leaks the cheerleading squad routine to is called the Melvin Laird Middle School, which is named for the U.S. Secretary of Defense during Richard Nixon's first term as president.
Wow, good catch.
Which is a weird. I'm looking online.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
I think it's fun to when there are fun trivia bits that I enjoy. I will definitely let us know in the podcast. But that one I do like. That's such an obscure thing. That's like how I mean, it's not super obscure, but like in Family Guy, Buddy CNC Junior High School. That was just kind of it's nobody really knows who Buddy CNC Jr. is, but there it is.
Buddy CNC is the former mayor of Rhode Island, of Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah, no, I know you know. I'm
okay.
just saying it's one of those things where some people don't understand that.
Got it. Yes.
Like nobody would get Melvin Laird unless you grew up and were politically aware during 1969.
inclined in the 60s and
70s.
60s, 70s, sure.
And then let's go through the gigs real quick because those were it for the trivias that I cared about. The storefront was the Nightlight Zone, which is just a play on the Twilight Zone. And then we had the pest control truck, the So You Think You Have Ants exterminators. I thought it was pretty good for the.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Like So You Think, like the old reality TV show, So You Think You Can Dance.
Yes.
And then we had 2 burgers today. For as much as the show took place out of the restaurant, there were still the moments in the restaurant. We had the Parma Chameleon burger.
I wonder how much Parmesan is on that burger.
Well, here's the thing. It comes with Parmesan crisp, so I wonder
which is delicious.
I wonder if that's just like the bun is Parmesan.
No, Parmesan crisp is like it's fried. It's fried cheese.
No, I know. I'm just wondering if it's also like if the bun is also Parmesan.
I don't know.
Like those Asiago cheese bagels that you can get at Panera or any bagel place. Really, I wonder if it's kind of like that, where maybe the buns are toasted Parmesan.
Yeah, that could be.
And then the second burger was Parma. That's based on the Culture Club song Karma Chameleon.
Right.
Of course. And then the Blue Bayou burger, which is with locally sourced blue cheese, which is a play on the song Blue Bayou. Like the bayou,
yes.
Louisiana. And both of those burgers sound pretty good. I'm not a big blue cheese guy, but like on a burger, I think that would be just fine.
Blue cheese is growing on me as I get older, but if I had my choice between the two, it's Parmesan burger all the way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the end credits were just there was nothing special in there other than Linda doing some cheering.
Yeah, she has some cheers. It's pretty fun.
To the marching band version of this episode of the theme song of the Bob's Burgers theme song.
That's right.
So I don't have anything else. If there's anything you want to mention, go ahead and do it now.
The only thing I wanted to mention is the outfits. Again, I'm a sucker for seeing the characters out of their normal clothes. And so we get the cheerleader outfits, we get the robot cheerleader outfits, and we get Gene with a jockstrap on his head, and then Linda with a cheerleading skirt that she got as well.
Zeke with a jockstrap on his head, not Gene.
Oh yeah, Zeke. Jeez.
Zeke with the jockstrap.
Yeah, not even close.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah,
I just wanted to correct for all of our friends and fans who didn't know what you were talking about.
Right. And then one of the jokes that we didn't really go over was when Tina still couldn't eat or very well because her tongue was so swollen. One of the quick little lines that Linda had is Tina, for lunch I smoothied you a tuna sandwich.
Oh yeah, gross.
and then she's like, oh, and then Louise is like, thanks, Mom, make this every day. As her interpreter. So that was pretty good.
Louise being Louise.
Mm-hmm.
So
those are the couple of things that I wanted to go over.
Sure. Good. I think that's actually probably a good place then for us to stop this and go ahead and tally up some scores.
Stop this and never come back.
We won't come back to this episode. You're right, unless we do it in our review, our season 4 review.
That's true. That's
but
coming
we're
up.
Stop here, get some numbers, and get you back.
So, as Tina's official interpreter, I'm gonna have my hands pretty full, and that means no homework, unfortunately.
I don't know, Louise. Frankly, this sounds like a scheme to miss class.
Yeah, I think so too.
What's she saying?
Oh, she said she needs me.
I didn't say that.
And I have a disability. You insensitive creep. Give me Louise, or I will haul your white ass into court.
Okay, settle down, Tina.
Well, you're upsetting her. I've never seen her this angry.
Tell her I'm sorry.
She can hear.
Oh, sorry.
All right, I've crunched some numbers. My calculating has been calculated, and we've double checked, and we're all set to go. And do you have 2 minutes on that clock of yours?
I sure do.
All right, so I'm ready to go. Let's start right now with the episode fun bits. Nightlight Zone. So you think you have ants? Burger of the day. I gave that an 8. I found them all pretty good. But so you think you have ants was phenomenal.
That was by far the best one.
I love anything with Parmesan on it, so of course that burger helps with that as well. So yeah, 8 for me.
Yeah, give it an 8 as well. So you think I have ants is a great play on words.
Story, I gave a 7. I definitely enjoyed the story. I thought it was good. Like we've talked about, kind of serviceable. It would have been higher, but we went through the 8 degrees of awful Ambrose. So so it gets a 7 for me on that.
Yeah, I gave it a 6, mostly because of Ambrose. It really bothered me that that's the direction that they took it when it didn't need to, and they still could have had a fun, wacky, Mr. Ambrose character, and kind of still had it Billy Eichner-fied, but he didn't have to force his way into really harming the kids and harming the team. So it gets a 6 for me.
All right, humor, I gave it 8. I definitely laughed a lot, and I was laughing as we were talking about this episode. Mostly just the parts with Keegan-Michael Key and Gene and their whole deal. Todd and Gene dynamic was hilarious, and then Louise obviously gets an 8 for me.
Gets a 7. And I was teetering between a 7 and an 8, but I went with my original as a 7. Anything Louise did was amazing in this episode, and that's why I was kind of teetering back and forth. But I feel like it needed to get a little bit more for humor overall to get up to the 8s for me.
Sure. And then other, I gave a 9. Again, Keegan-Michael Key as Todd was fantastic. Just the whole feel of the episode just was good to me. I give it a 9 for that.
Yep. I give it a 9 as well. Lots of guest voices, new outfits for the characters. We get to go to King's Head Island. We learn about another school in the area and what it's called. So we get a lot world building, but then also the things I like with the new costumes. That's 2 minutes.
Sweet. All right, so that's a 7.7 for me. A 7 for you, which gives us the overall of a 7.35.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, I was actually surprised that yours came out to be a 7 on the dot, just because of the way that the numbers looked. But
yeah,
that's why I re-added.
That's because of math.
Tabulated. It is math is weird sometimes.
The magic of math. So that's gonna do it for us. We do want to say thank you everybody for listening. I hope everybody had a great holiday. We have one more holiday ahead of us with a new year, and we'll be back next year.
Yeah.
Next
the
Thursday.
the first episode of the new year is actually going to be a two-parter. We're not going to release it in 2 separate weeks, but it's the season finale of season 4, and it's the two-part The Wharf House and World War II. We're not going to split those into 2 episodes, even though
I think it should just be
one. They were written as 2 episodes. We're going to do it as 1. And I think that just is. I think that's more befitting of the episode, so we can just talk about the whole thing. So it might be an extended episode. It might be longer than our average episode. It probably will be because we're going to be reviewing essentially 2 episodes.
Most likely, yeah.
But yeah, so that'll happen. That's the first episode of the new year. Will be that. Before Brian whisks us away, I know it's late. But I just want to say,
it's late. I just want to go to bed.
I just want to say that this has been quite a fantastic first full year, calendar year of Burgers and Fries. We've done podcasts before. We've said it at length before that we've done podcasts and we've had some fun and some success in the past. But as much as we've enjoyed doing those ones, we've had the most fun doing this one. Having this become a big part of who we are, even though the show was already a part of that. Just getting to be able to do this and getting feedback and having fun with this and seeing everybody else who enjoys this show. We've absolutely loved it, and we've done 52 episodes this year. Which is amazing. And we've got so many more to go. We've got years to go. We're only on the end of season 4, and we're just starting the year 2019.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one.
But
it's gonna be a tough haul to catch up to the Bob's Burgers in real time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it will be, but I mean, it's definitely fun. We enjoy doing this. We enjoy reviewing the episodes. It gives us a nice, clear view and a better understanding of the show. Being able to talk to people who've been in the show has been a phenomenal treat to get even more behind the scenes as to what the show is. But we didn't really do this around Thanksgiving, and we didn't do this around last week's episode. But I just want to say that how thankful I am, and I know how thankful Brian is that we're able to do this, and how much we had just loved being able to bring this to you, to anybody, every week, every Thursday. We've been there, for more than a year, but just for at least this whole calendar year. I'm so excited for that we have another whole year, 2019, starting next week for this.
Yeah. So another 52 episodes coming at you. So, yeah, I can't say it any better than that. I agree with everything Ryan said, so we're not going to waste anybody else's time. So you can find us on Patreon, Burgers Fries Pod. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Burgers Fries Pod. You can find us on Gmail, burgersfriespod@gmail.com. Are you sensing a theme here? I think that's enough. So that's right. That's going to do it from us. I do want to say again to everybody, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the new year. I'm Brian.
I'm Ryan. Don't you tell me no lies.